Yeah, we don't mess around here on Man on a Mission. We got Brad Lea today. I don't think this guy needs much of an introduction. He crosses many different domains, and his content is just ripping across the world right now. One of the things that I greatly admire about Brad is his ability to really speak real truth.
There's something different about you that appeals. If you were to float up to 50,000 feet, how would you self-critique yourself?
This Man on a Mission. My mission is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it, because the reason people fail or aren't where they want to be is because they don't have the right information. Nobody's intentionally trying to lose. Nobody's intentionally trying to stay at $80,000 a year. At one point, I realized my dad probably didn't ever become successful because he didn't have the right information. So I want to literally get the information from the people who have it to the people who need it, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, we don't mess around here on Man on a Mission. We got Brad Lea today. I don't think he needs much of an introduction. I'm looking at my camera right now for this intro, but I don't think this guy needs much of an introduction. I was just at a political event this weekend with some of the biggest names in politics. I had a one-on-one with Robert Kennedy Jr., just some interesting figures out in the game. And it was funny, a few of these people wanted to follow me. So I was in their phone, some of these big donors to political parties, and I noticed something in common with a handful of them. I'd get into their page, and I'd see mutual alignments as I'm like searching things, and a lot of these people are following Brad Lea. Now, these people are not big in the world of personal development. These are political people. They don't really know how to use social media, but sure as shit, I see Brad Lea's face there. I noticed that a few odd times.
Yeah.
This last week. He does not need an introduction. He crosses many different domains, and his content is just ripping across the world right now, particularly here in America, obviously. So, Brad, I'm excited to be able to get beneath the surface a little bit with you. We want to drop some bombs of our own, and I'll just add this one last thing in the intro. And I just told Brad this in the little pre-show banter we had. We didn't have much time there, but one of the things that I greatly admire about Brad is his ability to really speak real truth from the perspective that I have. His truth, a lot of these areas that Brad goes, they shouldn't be controversial, but unfortunately in the world that we're in, they are. And a lot of people with the influence that Brad has and the voice box that he has, they won't use that. And that's sort of our mission here, is to always go so where truth is and punch hard and not give a fuck what people think, not be so politically correct. And I love that Brad can cross into some of these areas where I think it's detrimental, because America has a big problem right now, and the trajectory of this country from our perspective, it's not so great. So it's going to take a lot of people that are willing to step up to the plate and step into the light. And Brad is one of those people. So Brad, welcome to the show, man. We're honored to have you.
Brad.
Well, thanks for having me. That was a hell of an introduction. I don't know who's following me from the political spectrum.
Yeah.
True story. Well, one of the things we do on the show, Brad, it's we don't have to stay here, but we really like to start with the lows in someone's life. I know you got a good story. I know your story, and it was an honor getting to see you speak several times now, and actually getting to meet you in person. So I want to give the audience just a touch in where you came from in that background of the lows in your life. And usually what we do is, as we get closer to your mission, we extract a lot of gold, a lot of resources, a lot of valuable information, all the way up to like what you're doing and what your mission on life is. But if you could take us back to the Brad Lea that you wouldn't recognize in a mirror, I'd love to start there if you don't mind.
You know, I think I'd still recognize all versions of me. I grew up in a kind of blue collar family. I wish I could, say it was walking uphill both ways in the snow and had to carry a baked potato to keep my hands warm, and that's what I had to eat for lunch, and this, that, and the other thing. But we always had food, we always had clothes. I'd say we were lower income, not low class. There's middle class, upper class, then supposedly low class. Well, we had class, we were just low income. My dad had 5 kids. And so, he was a little strapped, blue collar worker. My whole family's pretty much blue collar. But other than that, I thought I had a great childhood. I don't really think to myself, what were my low points? Someone asked me once, because I was homeless on the beach in LA once, and I slept on the beach for a couple weeks. People said, well, what'd you feel like when you hit rock bottom? And I said, I don't think I've ever hit rock bottom. They're like, didn't you say you were homeless? Yeah, but like first of it was a beach, number 1. Number 2, I chose to be there. Number 3, that's not rock bottom. And if somebody thinks that's rock bottom, I think they've lived a little bit of a sheltered life, because I can think of a million things worse than sleeping on a beach voluntarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's mindset right there. Yeah, most people would say that's rock bottom. You don't have a secure place to live. You don't have some of the securities that I think people look for to kind of give them a sense that they've made it, at least to a comfortable place in life. That alone may be perceived as rock bottom. It's probably the reason so many people like you is your ability to always have a silver lining or positive spin. Most of your content, even though you cut pretty hard, you're funny as hell. But beneath the surface of you is a very practical mindset that always recognizes this grateful piece that I think is really crucial for forward momentum to take place in your life. Your ability to see sunshine and fresh air is a gift, man. And I think it's one of the things that's lacking in America overall is so many people are victims. This is a victim mentality that we're exposed to day and night, and especially with our children. Guys like you, if you really listen to what you're saying, you speak. This is that truth that I keep talking about, and I want more of it. I love this stuff. I thrive on it myself, being always able to find the grateful piece. But at some point from the beach to where you're at now, you had to get some clarity on something that was going to start becoming the spark towards the Brad Lea that we see today.
Well, again, I think when I look back, I honestly believe that, I've always kind of been the same person my whole life, really. Even like 6 years old, they gave me a box of candy bars. I don't know if you heard that story, but they told me to go sell candy bars. So I went and started knocking on the doors and had to develop a pitch because they weren't selling after the first 4 or 5 houses. I put the box behind my back, knocked on the door. When they opened it, I said, "Do you have a phone number to a good roof repairman?" They'd go, "What?" And I'd say, "Because when you taste one of these, you're going to go through the roof." They started buying all my candy bars, and I was selling like everybody else's that couldn't sell their candy bars. So I was always kind of, innovative, I guess, looking back. But to me, it's like, listen, if you really want to make sure you're going to be successful in life, number one, learn to sell. A lot of people, try to get away from sales. They think they're no good at it. And, they literally talk themselves out of it, when in reality, everybody is in sales one way or the other. Most people have been selling themselves short their whole life, and that's part of their problem. But to me, like when you said before, you said, well, you didn't have a secure place to live. I would rather be homeless on the beach than in a secure place to live. Because when I think secure place to live, wouldn't that be prison? Isn't prison pretty secure?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I don't want to live in a secure place necessarily.
Yeah.
Because to me, it can always be worse. The gratitude, I think, is really what makes me a little bit different than most people. And I think it's my perspective that the gratitude causes to shift. So I always say, if I gave you $1 million, would you be happy? People are like, well, yeah, I'd be excited. There'd be no problems in the world if you just handed me $1 million cash, no strings attached. And I said, but if you can't wake up the next day, would you take it? They said, of course not. So you value waking up more than $1 million. They say yes. Well, then how come we don't act like that when we wake up? So I've just trained my brain over the years to understand that waking up, simply waking up, is the most incredible. Like, in other words, you're not trying to get something during the day that's more valuable than that, which means you wake up every morning with the gift so valuable, most people just take it for granted. I don't. Yeah. I realize that is an unbelievable gift. There's nothing I could achieve during the day that would outweigh the value of this, which causes me to smile and get up and start attacking the day, because I get, in my mind, opportunities all day long. Even if some people would call them challenges, or some people would call them rock bottom or problems, I don't see them as problems. I see them as opportunities.
Yeah,
Brad,
that was good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, one
really
thing,
good.
If you look at the content of your speech and your content of your message and your story, obviously you're contributing in the domain of sales and a lot of mindset stuff. But there's something different about you that appeals. Like you're hitting quite an influence in the country. If you were to float up to 50,000 feet and just like impersonally look at your own self, what is it about the man, your way of being, that wins so much trust with people? Like, how would you self-critique yourself?
I would say more than anything, authenticity. Like,
yeah, I agree.
When you know someone's being authentic, I think tend to trust them more.
Yeah.
And trust goes a long way. I mean, I would rather people trust me than like me. If you like me, but you don't trust me, in other words, I'd rather be in a situation of trust than like any day. Like I might like you, but I don't trust you, so I won't let you stay at my house.
Yeah.
But if I don't necessarily like you, but I completely trust you, well then, I might not let you stay at my house because I don't like you. But at the end of the day, if you had to stay at my house, I'd much rather trust that you're not going to kill me and my family.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think authenticity is probably why. I don't know. I always ask myself, why don't I have more followers? Like, I don't think I have that many. I want like zillions and millions. And, I think to myself, I just want to help people. My mission in life, this man on a mission, my mission is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. Because the reason people fail or aren't where they want to be is because they don't have the right information. Nobody's intentionally trying to lose. Nobody's intentionally trying to stay at $80,000 a year. They don't have the right information to get to the next level. So I am lucky. I get to go around and meet all these badasses, subject matter experts, mindset experts, sales experts, business experts, investment experts, because of my software. So at one point, I realized my dad probably didn't ever become successful because he didn't have the right information. So I want to literally get the information from the people who have it to the people who need it, and I'm one of them. So it's like I started, thinking to myself, well, why don't I just start talking about what I believe on social media?
Yeah.
And bring what everybody else has to social media.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the followers began, with that initiative. But that's now my mission.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That authenticity piece is crucial. I love the whole concept of waking up is worth more than $1 million. That alone will change the perspective of your day.
Yeah,
and I loved your point on security. What I heard you say was the comfort bubble of security is actually slavery. And a lot of people get trapped in it. And I think it's being indoctrinated into our children's more now than ever, this victim mentality that we keep touching into. And it seems like you're the type of voice that is exactly what America needs. Is you see politicians fail this country generation after generation, and it seems that the trajectory is only getting worse. This is why I decided to step into the light outside of my core businesses. This became my mission, and it started as a passion project. But what I realize now is I was meant to do this shit. But I think it was people like you that really gave me the okay to go ahead and do it too. So I thank you for that. I brought on Ed Milet. He really was a gift in my life as a mentor and a one-on-one personal coach to do. It's almost like I needed permission myself, but now I want to inspire other people that have any kind of perspective worthwhile, any kind of anything to give worthwhile to community, to step out of the comfort zone onto a camera and speak to these young children who are just being raped in real time all across this country, quite literally actually, but also metaphorically. These poor kids don't have a chance, and I feel like freedom is slowly disappearing. Through entrepreneurship, I think it is one of the biggest gifts that you can give a young mindset. You have LightSpeed. I'm very interested in the concept of LightSpeed. I've considered hiring you myself as I take on this new world of influence and impact. But can you walk us through? I want to give your company a plug here for sure, because you're right. It was one of your biggest connectors in your world was the ability to meet such profound people because you had a product and a service that was your great connector in life. And now you're leveraging that in the marketplace in so many unique ways. And this is such a story lesson right here for people that may have a good connector in their businesses, how to leverage it to the next level like Brad Lea's doing. But if you could maybe touch on LightSpeed for a minute, what you do, how you grew it, what you want to do with it, how you're going to scale it even further. I think a little lesson inside this box would be really good, Brad.
Well, LightSpeed VT is a web-based interactive training and communication platform that I developed to originally get my training out there. And it was 1999 when we started, and a lot of people don't realize this, but there wasn't training online in 1999.
Yeah.
There wasn't platforms, technology, systems, and offerings. So when I needed one, I had to build my own. And so I literally started the online learning movement back in 1999. What happened was I started helping people was sales and closing. And I started to recognize how easily I could show people how to make money. So where if you're not making $10, $20, $30,000 a month, I mean, and back then, by the way, that's probably the equivalent of me saying, if you're not making 40, 50, 60,000 a month now, I can show you how to do it. Like, it's not that difficult. A lot of people will say it's difficult, but that's because there's three things that they have a problem with: mindset, skill set, or habits. It's always your mindset, skill set, habits. So when people are listening to this and they're like, "Oh, it's not that easy, Brad." Yes, it is that easy. You just have a mindset problem surrounding it. So you don't believe that it's that easy, which is why it's not easy. But anyway, I help people learn to sell, close, and persuade. Easily showing them how to make unbelievable amounts of money, even at young ages, from literally nothing, minimum wage. And it made me feel good watching how money impacted their families. I saw like really good families become a lot closer, a lot happier, a lot more vibrant. And I thought to myself, man, I'm going to quit my job and go do this for a living. So this was in '99. So I went out to compete with Grant Cardone and Joe Verdi and Tom Hopkins and Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy and all these people. I mean, I had, heard of them, but nobody's heard of me. That was the problem. So I go out on the road and I realized that this training wasn't working like it used to. And so I figured out the 4 things that are necessary to actually train people. And I set out to set up technology that could deliver those. So the 4 ingredients were good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. See, when I was working for a company, I would hire someone, train them without knowing it, give them good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. And when I quit to go out on the road, I couldn't deliver the repetition, the practice, or the accountability because I didn't work there. I was just delivering the good content, running my mouth. Yeah. And plus I was out on the road living out of a hotel, which I didn't like. So I thought to myself, man, there's a better way of doing this. So I figured, hey, I heard about this internet thing. What if I could create a kind of a web-based training where I pop up and tell them what I want to tell them, just like I was in real life, but it's on the internet and we could track it and we could do all this. Long story short, I developed the LightSpeed VT system for my own training. Went out, started to find a little bit of success, ultimately ran into a bunch of competition saying we use Grant Cardone, we use Joe Verdi, we use Brian Tracy, we use all these other people. And I said, well, what if I had those people on this system? Would you buy it then? And they said yes. So I said, And again, this is common sense to me. Everyone's like, wow, how'd you think of that? Yeah. It's like, dude, it's called common sense, man. Everybody said they'd buy my shit if I had other people on my shit. And I'm like, okay, well then let me go get the other people to be on my shit. So I went and started closing the people that were teaching people to close. And then pretty soon I started closing them. So I got, all these different people on my platform, on my technology that I made for myself by just taking my content out and putting theirs in and putting their name on it. And then I'm like, just give me a little piece of the revenue that you get and you can use all my shit for free. Right. They agreed. So I started basically private labeling my software to all these other people. And the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Right. Now, that caused me to be able to hang out with all these subject matter experts and all of these, thought leaders because they were using my technology to deliver their training and education. Yeah. And after, 24 years in the game, and literally starting the space. I started the space. When I think back, I think to myself, man, that's kind of, I could literally say and not be lying that I am the pioneer, the father of the online learning space.
It's amazing. Yeah, you are the pioneer. The word I wrote down a long time ago when you first started talking about 1999. That's a pioneer right there in the space. I love pioneers. These are the guys that literally start movements. So this is really cool, Brad.
Eric, there's a problem with pioneers. They're the ones with the arrows in their back.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what were some of those arrows?
Pioneers get the arrows and settlers get the land.
Settlers, interesting.
Yeah. You don't always want to be a pioneer.
What were some of the, obviously you flew under the radar by private labeling it, but what were some of those early arrows? How'd you keep growing?
Well, I just kept believing, naively perhaps, that I was, this far from being a millionaire. I literally tell people I'm going to write a book one day called 90 Days, but days is going to be spelled D-A-Z-E. It's how do you get anything you want in 90 days? Yeah. Because literally when I started the company, I truly believed in 90 days I was going to be a multi-millionaire. This is going to be the craziest thing. Everyone's going to want it. So 90 days later, of course, I wasn't there. But every time someone would ask me, how's it going? I would literally and honestly believe that I was 90 days away from all hell busting loose and becoming successful and rich like a son of a bitch. And so like every, I don't know, year or two, someone would run into me and be like, well, how's it going? And I'd be like, bro, 90 days. And people started to say, dude, you say 90 days every time I see you. And I'm like, I know, but dude, trust me, this 90 days is unbelievable. I've got this working and that working. And I'm telling you right now, 90 days, I'm done. I'm like multi-millionaire. And I honestly believed that it was 90 days away for 24 years.
Yeah.
And that's how you get anything you want in life. In 90 days, you figure out what it is that you want. You look down and start busting your ass for 90 days. You look up after 90 days. And if you're not where you wanted to be, just look back down and bust your ass for another 90 days and look back up at the end of 90 days. If you're not where you want to be, look back down and bust your ass for 90 days. And eventually you will pop up one of those 90-day increments and you'll be like, well, I've arrived. Yeah. And that's how you get anything and anywhere in 90 days. You just break big math. If someone would have told me it would have taken me 20 years, I never would have. Probably.
That's amazing. There's this behavioral study on with rats, and they drop a rat in a bucket of water, and typically they drowned in like 8 minutes or something like that. But if they save the rat at 7 minutes and 50 seconds, take it out of the water, throw it back in the bucket, guess how long it'll swim?
Forever.
It'll swim like 60 hours.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's bananas. So these rats, because they know there's like, if they just keep swimming. So if you drop a rat in, it'll drown in 8 minutes or whatever the minute framework is. You take them out just once and then put them back in. They have an experience of like living or making
scar tissue. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, they'll actually go for 60 hours after that. Like
I can see the relation to that.
I hear that in your story. You're like, you're like the rat who's like, oh, I'm going to just trust me. The next 3 months, just stay with me. It's amazing.
I believed it the whole time, man. I literally thought, like, if you ask me right now, 90 days from now, my company should be, you know, way bigger than it is right now. Because there's just so many things working that in 90 days, man, things massively change. And even today, I think to myself,
you're still that way.
90 days from now, it's going to be incredible. So I've trained my brain just to think in 90-day increments. And I've been drunk longer than that. Like, anyone can do 90 days.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
True though. The best stories though. I mean, there's so many good ones. I'm thinking of Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, one of the best books. I just love the journey of founders and entrepreneurs that have these dreams and how they bring these dreams to life. Oftentimes, this is a long game, and if you don't have a system for staying in the game when most people are going to fold, then you'll fold. And another thing I like that you said, Brad, I'm really big on this. I try to teach this a lot when and where I can. The power of proximity. Your business gave you access and proximity to some great people. Your ability to understand the value of that content and how to leverage it is really crucial. And so many people, they're blind to this concept of how important proximity is, and then they're even blinder to the whole concept of how to leverage it in the marketplace. And again, you want to leverage it with heart, with soul, with passion. You want to bring good value to the table. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, though, people that learn how to master this and then bring value to the table along the way are the ones that really can start moving mountains. And I've seen it in my own life, the power of proximity. You start getting around the right people, not only are they contagious, but even being seen with them sort of instantly elevates you with them. You know, you kind of instantly start swimming a little different like a shark. Your skin's a little thicker like a shark. And people then start looking at you like, oh, he must be a shark too. So I love this concept of proximity and how you leveraged it in your business.
You know, that's 100% accurate what you just said. You know, I always tell this story. One time my dad and I, we were driving to the mall. And this was in 1976, November 25th, in fact, 1976. And he sees a commotion at the hotel. It turns out Elvis Presley's at the hotel. So he says, hey, let's go meet Elvis. So we walk in there to meet Elvis, and there's security guards and the big old crowds being stopped by ropes and everything. And my dad goes, oh, I guess we can't meet Elvis. So I said, why is that? And he said, because they're stopping us. And when I looked over, man, I didn't see everybody being stopped, and I didn't see ropes and security guards. I just saw a clear path where I wanted to go between the legs of everybody. Yeah. And I could see exactly, you know, where the suite's doors were. And so I just basically darted in
Booked
between
it in.
everybody's legs and made my way to the frickin' door. And the door is opened, and Elvis walks out and he pats me on the head and says, "How you doing, little man?" and turns around and walks away. And literally, Elvis's coolness transferred to me.
Yeah.
Like I went back towards the crowd where my dad still was being held back, and everybody was freaking out because it was almost like I was Elvis. Like he touched me on the head, and now everybody wanted to touch me. I was the kid that Elvis touched, and I was like the most famous person for that 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was literally because Elvis touched me, and everybody, like his coolness transferred to me.
There's two lessons
good.
in that story, by the way. He touched on the transfer of the power of proximity, but he also had a clear pathway to something that his dad couldn't see the clear pathway to. Like so often people put up their own roadblocks, and it's so crazy how people that just can see a little differently, like he sees it a different level. A little kid has different obstacles than a parent does, but there's a story somehow in that and people's limitations on what they put themselves in. He got himself right where he wanted to be because he didn't see the obstacles that his dad saw. And somehow I think that's probably a bigger lesson in this story than anything.
It's great that you said that. That also from a different perspective, because as you said that, I'm like, my dad, being taller than I was, could see from his perspective. Me, from being down here, saw from a different perspective. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. Just shift your perspective. And the whole thing is gratitude is what does it for me.
Yeah.
I literally and honestly, sounds cheesy sometimes or cliche, but I literally and honestly find the good in most things. Like, I say most things because not everything. Like the other day, I'm on a plane, and for some reason FaceTime comes through. Well, it's my little 8-year-old daughter, Kendall, and I'm like, she's FaceTiming me, which is crazy. But I'm a rebel, so what do? I answer it right on the flight. I don't care. So I flip it open. I'm like, hey, boo, and she's bawling her eyes out. And all I heard her say, and again, the FaceTime came through at, let's say, 20,000 feet, because we were probably 20 to 30 minutes from landing. So it shouldn't even have came through. And I saw her bawling, and I all she said was, "Chloe," who's my 18-month-old baby, "Chloe was in the pool."
Oh God.
Oh man.
That's like making my stomach sick.
Dude, my stomach sank, trust me. Yeah. And then the phone went dead.
Oh my God.
And she's bawling. I've never seen her look this way.
Wow.
So I'm texting. I'm trying to call. There's no connection. I can't call. I'm texting my wife. No answer. And by the way, I've got internet on the plane, so I'm texting. Texts are going through. No answer. No answer. No answer. But the call won't go through. So then, within 3 to 4 minutes, my wife is now calling on FaceTime, because apparently FaceTime works and phone calls don't.
Wi-Fi.
So I slide over the phone, and I've never seen her look this way. She's completely white. She's bawling her eyes out, and she said, "Chloe was in the pool." I'm like, unbelievable. My heart is like I had nothing positive about this whole situation. There are times where I'm not going to find the good in shit. And I'm sure there's people out there that have been through some things that there was nothing good about it. Okay, but, fortunately, I heard her crying as my wife was talking. And I said, "But I hear her crying." Actually, no, the phone went dead.
Again.
And so I'm like, trying to get a hold. No. I had to land before I could get signal to call her back. And I said, "What the fuck is going on?" She said, "Well, Chloe was in the pool." And I said, "I hear her crying." She says, "Yes, she's crying." I'm like, well, then why is everybody fucking bawling? Why is everybody crying? Because she was in the pool? But she was in the pool for 63 seconds. She was blue in the face, underwater, with her eyes open. My wife had to find her that way. Any longer, she would have been dead. For some reason, we were blessed. And again, I always say I'm one of the luckiest people on the planet, and I really am. And I'm willing to roll the dice, which makes me even more lucky. Because if you're lucky but you won't roll the dice, what's the point?
Fearful.
So I'm lucky and I'm willing to roll the dice. And, that moment just made me realize, what are you chasing after? What is everybody after? I've already got my little girls. I've already got their health. We've already got our health. Like, believe it or not, if everybody just stopped to appreciate and be grateful for what they currently have, they wouldn't be so worried about why they can't get what it is they truly want, which, by the way, is 9 times out of 10, not what they truly want.
True.
Yeah.
I agree.
Tell us, I was intrigued to learn that you have a big family. Is 7 children?
7 kids, yeah.
That's amazing. Just to get to know the man more, tell us about your family.
Say that one more time. I got my
We
family.
hear
screaming.
him.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
hear them.
Speak
hear
over
him.
your family. Like,
I just
I'd love
text
to
my
hear.
wife, like, babe, I'm on a call. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I've never heard
I mean,
them.
I have 4 kids, and I'm just amazed that you're doing what you're doing in the world with 7 kids, and I think it's awesome. Like, tell what does your family mean to you?
Well, it's 7 kids from 4 women, and I can explain because that sounds a bit trashy. But when I was 17 years old, I had sex once, and a child came from it.
Yeah.
One time, by the way, first time and one time.
Wow.
Boom, kid. Now, there's nothing trashy about that. A lot of people
No.
in high
It,
school.
it happens.
Did you guys do it in high school? I did. So,
Yeah.
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 So I decided, that's not good. I better not do anything. Then I waited till I was 19. Well, the second time I did it, once, another
killing
kid.
me.
So now 2 different women, 2 kids. I'm 19 years old.
Super sperm.
It was. What's funny is one time my wife or someone came over to our house and my wife was pregnant. And I guess they were trying to get pregnant. And she goes, babe, I want to get pregnant like Melissa. And I'm like, well, then you'd have to come over more often. But in reality, so now I've got 2 kids by 19 years old, obviously irresponsible, no money, blue collar family. No one's helping me choose. No one's guiding me. No one's counseling me. So I didn't really, let's say, I didn't do the responsible thing. I didn't marry them or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was a little bit irresponsible. Thank God they were good women and they, took care of the babies because I sure didn't. But, I had to pay child support and all that crap. But I was still running around immature and stupid. Coincidentally, I got those girls when they were 14. Apparently, they were, running their moms ragged, so they came with me at 14. But I got married after that, had 2 boys. She wanted to be the boss. That position was taken because I don't like being told what to do. So I basically, after 10 years, told her, look, if we can't seem to figure out who's boss, well, then I guess we'll have to break up. So there's 2 more, 3 women, right? So now I got 4 kids, 3 women. There's nothing wrong with this so far. I was married for 2. First one was once. The second one was once.
You're good, Brad.
Well, it sounds bad, but it's not. But my oldest is 37.
Incredible, man. You look so young.
And my youngest is 22 months. So I've got 22 months, 8 years old, 10 years old, 26 years old, 28 years old, 35 years old, and 38 years old.
Oh, that's amazing.
You look great, man. How old are you?
Yeah, you do look good.
54.
Yeah,
You look
good for
great.
you, Brad.
Why, thank you, sir.
Brad's Slate. And you know what I love about Brad? Like, he's such a good storyteller. He
is,
ropes you in, you know what I mean? I think the art of storytelling is it's a superpower. It's another powerful, tactics that
hard to
Brad
teach
fully
that.
leverages.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's
People
good,
like
man.
Stories, man. People like stories.
It
I
moves
think
the needle.
I think your question earlier, why do people like me? Maybe that's why, because I tell most of everything I do is I tell stories. People hire me to speak. I get like $50,000 to go talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And all I'm doing is telling them stories of things that I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the history of humanity, if you go back, this blows my mind, a century or 1,000 years ago, most kings couldn't read. I mean, we've just told stories. That's all we do. We're storytelling
passing on
creatures.
stories. Yeah. Yeah, storytelling. Content. I wanted to get with content. We're all, a lot of people that are naturally drawn to the kind of the space that we work in, or they're looking for secrets. They're looking for, we just had, we're doing 4 podcasts today. We just had a guy named Elliot Rowe on. He's actually Dan Fleischman hired him as a mindset coach. And Elliot has coached some of the best gamblers in the world, biggest CEOs in the world, athletes, celebrities, the likes. It was a really interesting interview that we had, but really going after sort of the secret that separates people that win in life and the ones that don't. And I just see a lot of common things when we talk to high performers or people that really, especially now, they step into the light. They're not afraid to tell their story. They are getting in front of a camera. I recognize more and more the power of this capacity to put out content, to put out a message. And you talked a lot about authenticity. I think a lot of people try to do it and they get out of that safety bubble a little bit, and then it doesn't feel that great, so they jump back into it. I don't know if it's that easy to break through, or if you really can break through if you're not being authentic. I think it's the real ones that really are the ones that succeed in this game, but everyone's trying to mimic it in kind of a half-ass way. For me, it was like I had to bare my soul to the world because I was so insecure until I finally got around people like you. That's what helped really pull me into the light and understand what it's going to take, that I was going to have to not give a shit what anybody thought. And I had to just close my eyes and just fucking let my true self come out. And fortunately enough, it works, but a lot of people are trying to mimic this and play this game. At the end of the day, though, what's your advice for these entrepreneurs who are trying to break out and use content in their world and build a brand around this idea of personal brand? I'm sure there's a lot of value you can give to someone that is interested in really breaking through and trying to leverage the power of content.
Yeah, well, I would say, that's why my shirt says real and my brand is real.
I saw that, yeah.
At the end of the day, a personal brand has allowed me to build multiple 8-figure companies in the last 2 years when it took me 24 years. Well, it didn't take me that long, but
sure,
I'd say it took me 8 to 12 years to make Lightspeed $1 million company, probably 15 to 20 years to make it a multi-million-dollar company, or let's say an 8-figure company. And it took me a couple years to build a few more just with a personal brand. So number one, personal brand is massively valuable. That's why they pay me $50,000 to speak every time, is because of my personal brand. It has nothing to do with anything else. So what I see people doing incorrectly is they're trying to figure out what to create for content when they need to be the content.
The content.
So I keep trying to tell people, be the content. Like, what does that mean? Well, film yourself being yourself. Film yourself doing what you do, talking how you talk, to whom you talk to. Like when you see my social media posts, that is me being me throughout my day. Like a lot of people say, you're always behind your desk. That's because I'm always at my desk, man. I work there.
Yeah.
So hey, you're always out on the balcony smoking a cigar. That's because I'm out on the balcony smoking a cigar during my breaks and shit.
Yeah.
So that's not me creating content. That's me being me while I'm being filmed. So obviously you can create in a way where I say, for example, hey, ask me some questions that you would want to know as a 23-year-old camera guy. So he'll ask me a question and then I'll answer that question. We'll also figure out what are the most searched terms on the internet, because if someone's searching for it, well, Brad Lea has an opinion on it, I'm sure. Yeah. So I'll have them ask me, topics about what's being searched, the most, relevant things.
Smart, yeah.
But it's still me talking to someone, being me, smoking my cigar. I don't remember there's a camera on me. But here's the biggest thing. Most people have what's called allodoxophobia. If you look that word up, ALLODOXO phobia, PHOBIA, allodoxophobia. It's basically the fear of other people's opinion.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everybody has it to some degree. I don't really have it very much. Now, when I say very much is because, if someone says, Brad, you want people to like you? Of course I want people to like me. You want people to, think you're cool? Of course I do. The difference is I don't care if they don't. You see what I'm saying? I want you to think I'm cool. I want you to like my content. But if you don't, I'm okay with that. Why?
Yeah.
Because I realize, number one, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And if you listen to life will tell you that you have to choose. You know, are you going to make your parents happy? Are you going to make your friends happy? Or are you going to make your, you know, who are you going to make happy? You got to choose.
True.
But what they don't tell you is that you are an option. So people are picking these people or those people, and they're not realizing that they're an option. You can make
That's
your
good.
fucking self happy, dipshit.
Love it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to me being happy, I got to be honest with you. If I'm trying to give the world my best, I got to be happy. Because if I'm not happy, I guarantee you're not happy. So if I'm not happy, they're not happy. Well, dude, I choose me. I'll say it to my wife. I'll say it to people. I'm the most important person in my life. And you should be too.
Yeah.
And I don't care what people think about that, because the only reason, if they don't think that should be the case, is they're just misinformed. They're just not enlightened yet. You should be the most important person in your life. If you love your family as much as you claim you do, then you need to put yourself first so you can be the best for them.
Yeah.
By putting them first, you're not being your best.
Sure.
But the allodoxophobia is what causes people not to do things and not to post on social media and not to build a personal brand, or to do so inauthentically. So they're saying things that they think this person wants to hear, and they don't want to piss off this side and that side. Like someone asked me the other day, what do you think about the, Israel-Palestine thing? How come you're not posting anything about it? Well, number one, you don't have to post about shit just because everybody thinks you should. Okay. First of all, go fuck yourself. That's what I think. Second of all, I don't believe in any kind of killing. I'm not with Israel and I'm not with Palestine. I'm with fucking, number one, I'm technically with the United States of America. My boy Andy Frisella had a video the other day. I'm watching him. I think he's the only one on planet Earth that would have thought the same thing I did. Because when they asked me, who do you stand with? I stand with America, bro. I'm American. I think we should be fucking worried about our own people.
Agree.
Now, do I want babies being killed? No. Do I want innocents being killed? No. And there's innocents on both sides, man. There's Israelis that are fucking killing innocent Palestinians, and there's Palestinians killing innocent Israelis. I don't stand with either of those.
Yeah.
I don't stand with that shit. I stand with America, though.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm American, and I think we have big problems here, and I think you need to quit worrying so much about what's happening out there in the world and start worrying about what's happening here. Because I'm telling you right now, there's some serious shit going on.
I agree. I'm going to connect your point about taking care of you first so that you can show up better for the people that you love, your family, your employees, all that. I'll connect it to this point right here with America. America's weakness that has literally just been fast forwarded in a way that I've never seen. And it's compounded in unique ways. COVID literally opened up the doors to so much fraud, and really it was a crippling effect as it comes to elections. It's bad. But you look at how when America doesn't take care of herself, what happens around the world. If we focused on strong America, we worry about our freedoms and really are the best and highest use for this country. I think you could see into the Trump years, really, when you focus on America, energy independence. I mean, you think about before COVID happened, China was on their knees. American energy independence was at an all-time high. There was no wars during that time. The worldwide stability at that time may have been the best ever in American history when you consider he's one of the few presidents that had operated a 4-year span with literally no wars. And then magically this little engineered bug pops out of Wuhan, China of all fucking places. But again, it's a unique kind of connection point. It's probably a stretch, but I think it's all the same. When you worry about yourself, your ability to create good around you is far better than focusing on things that don't have anything to do with yourself.
I mean, you diagnosed it, Brad. It's political allopoxophobia. I mean, when the country's worried about approval, opinions of other countries about us, but just like you're like, hey, I'm number one in my life.
Yeah,
It
a
makes
strong
total
Brad
sense.
Lea creates
Our
stability
nation,
around him.
You know, the America First thing.
100%.
It's psychologically sound. America First.
Yeah, this is a bad situation, though, in this country. This is why I like Brad Lea, because he sort of goes there. Some people are too scared of the algorithm or this or that. I like that Brad will go where he wants to go. He's unapologetic, but I stand really with a lot of the sentiment that's beneath the surface of what he's saying. And I think it's good for America. It's good for children that are coming up in the game where they're literally the victims of so much bullshit and like weird nonsense that's really sickening as you see their little neural pathways developing as small children. All these people, like a government has become God. They've stripped God away from everything. And now government's becoming the parents. They're stripping parents out of the equation. You need Brad Lees in the world. There should be more Brad Lees that pop up. And that's what's inspired me is people like you that I admire. And I say, you know what? I'm going to step out of my comfort zone too. And I hope to inspire the next generation beneath me. And that's kind of the whole point of the show, this man on the mission idea, the concept of the whole thing is, well, number one, it's kind of taboo to say man these days. So fuck it. Let's say man on a mission. You know, it's funny. We hired a marketing group when we first started the show. And we were talking about the names idea for the show, and they're like, "You sure you want to do man on a mission?" I said, "Fuck you! Just you saying that, man, fuck you, man,
Two men.
But it's because of guys like you, Brad. So I'm always giving thanks. I'm grateful for people like you that are, in my opinion, kind of doing God's work. Because when you can better yourself first, get your shit right first, and be a disciplined human, do the hard thing, show up. And it really, that's what leads, I think, to moral conviction. And really like getting connected to a higher power often starts with you, like getting you fucking right first in your own mind. You give the green light to do that, man. So really, really happy to have you out in the world doing Brad Lea like shit.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You know, it means a lot. I'm glad I'm making an impact. You know, if there's people that need a little, let's call it a formula to become more like Brad or more confident. I would say more confident more than like me, because again, you don't want to be like me. You want to be like you, but you want to be more confidently you. So one of the things I did is I developed these 6 steps, or actually I realized this is what I did to kind of become that way. But ultimately, I call them the sacred 6. It's very simple. First thing you do is forgive yourself. Most people won't do that. They don't know how. It's very simple. You just literally say you forgive yourself. It's that easy. People are like, it's not that easy. See, again, mindset issue. Yes, it is that easy. You forgive yourself. You choose to forgive yourself. Then you commit to do what you say you're going to do. It's a very simple thing to do. You just commit to do what you say you're going to do. Now, if you're so worried about, you know, all the hard things you're going to have to do because you commit, just quit agreeing to do hard things. It's so easy to not agree. Like, you just don't agree. Like, hey, you want me to work out? I ain't agreeing to that. Why? Because I got to do what I say I'm going to do. And I do what I say I'm going to do. So I'm not agreeing to work out. I'm not agreeing to go do all your bullshit, hard work crap yet. Why? Yeah. Because I have to do it if I agree that I'll do it. So commit to do what you say you're going to do. Simple. And then 3, start racking up wins. People are like, what do you mean? Listen, every single day you can win all day long if you determine what wins are. Like, for example, I honestly believe, funny that you just did that, I honestly believe that when I drink water,
I'm winning.
It's a win.
Yep.
So every day I'm drinking a drink of water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm
Win,
a winner,
baby.
dude.
Woo!
And people can be like, oh, dude, that's stupid. No, dude, that's your opinion. My opinion is I'm going to start racking up the wins all day long. I want to win all day long so I feel like a winner, because confidence is really just the memory of success. It's the memory of winning. Yeah. So if you want to be more confident, you have to win a lot. If you lose a lot, you're literally going to feel like a loser. If you win a lot, you're literally going to feel like a winner. So how do we feel like a winner? Win all goddamn day.
I love it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning a little earlier than you wanted to. Win. Brush your fucking teeth, huh? Win. Drink some water. Eat something nutritious. Go get your heart rate elevated. Win. I'm winning all goddamn day, dude.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm winning all day. I make one extra phone call. I shake one more hand. I do one more podcast. I write one more book, whatever, or chapter. Whatever it is you do, man, do a little bit more. Do more, get more, believe it or not. So you win all day long. It's a simple principle. Everyone acts like it's complicated. You get to choose what a win is, not the world. The world doesn't get to decide what a win is. So you can make something stupid a win. Hey, if I turn off my phone during lunch, that's a win. You get to decide. So make your wins smaller all day long. And so now you start to feel more like a winner. Believe it or not, and this isn't an overnight thing, but here's what happens. You start to feel more like a winner. Then you start to stand up a little taller, and you start to look around your life, and you start to realize, man, I can do better than this. And more importantly, you think I deserve better than this.
Yeah.
And here's what happens. You start to realize you can do better than you're doing, and you deserve better than you're getting. And so all of a sudden you start to freaking really start moving and hustling and thinking differently. And then people start commenting on your newfound confidence. And then that's usually what pulls people back. So the fourth thing I tell people to do is just block out all the nonsense and the bullshit. You have to literally, I call it hate and headlines. Like, block out the hate, block out the headlines. Yeah. Stop listening to people. They will literally convince you that you're not worth all this newfound enthusiasm for your abilities. Yeah. And by the way, if you want to raise your net worth, raise your self-worth. Okay. Yeah. And this is how you do it. So you block out all the negativity. Then step 5, you visualize exactly where you want to go every single day. You run it through a filter that says, am I moving towards or away from this goal? So literally map out and visualize exactly what success looks like to you. Because a lot of people, when you go, matter of fact, from now on your future podcasts, do the Brad Lea question. Well, there's 2 Brad Lea questions. One is, would you rather work for $20 million or just get handed $100 million? And most people, by the way, will say, I'd rather work for $20 million, which is the dumbest answer ever. But anyway, so you want to map out and visualize. But if you ask your guests, hey, tell me what success is to you, you'll see most of them go like this. And because they don't really do much thinking about it. So what I recommend people do is not only do much thinking, but really get specific as to what success literally looks like to you, so you can determine whether you're moving towards or away. Because a lot of people are going through life, they don't know what success looks like, but they're hoping to find it. Yeah. They can't describe it, but they're hoping to run into it. It's stupid. If you want to be intentional, figure out what it looks like. I call it map out and visualize every day. Visualization works. What success looks like. Yep. Then every day, all you do is ask yourself one question. Am I moving towards or away? And if you're moving towards, great. If you're moving away, stop. Yeah. And by the way, sometimes we move away even though we know it's moving away, because we're rationalizing weakness. And ultimately, it's because deep down subconsciously, we don't believe we're worth any better. And so we will do whatever we need to do to keep us from moving ahead. Yeah. So there's people in the world that are doomed for life because they will not do these 6 steps enough to get out of that zone and literally believe that they're worth more. Because you ever notice, like, you're starting to do pretty well, then all of a sudden you do something stupid and you fuck up your momentum?
Sure.
It's because deep down, dude, you know you're not supposed to win. Somebody in your life has convinced you along the way, probably you, but somebody's convinced you along the way that, dude, you are not worth this. You're not supposed to be here. Yeah. So what we do is our subconscious mind causes us to create some sort of decision that moves us backwards because we're making too much progress. This isn't right. And so this is how you fix it. You seek new information. Every single day I'm looking for new information. I'm seeking new information. And I'm not talking about reading a shampoo bottle while you're taking a shit. I'm talking about books. I'm talking about real knowledge. Because the reason we're getting what we're getting is because we're doing what we're doing. The reason we're doing what we're doing is because we believe what we believe. Yeah. That's why we do what we do, is because of our beliefs. And they don't need to be true just to make them a belief. If you believe something, doesn't make it true. It's just that's your beliefs. So at the end of the day, your beliefs cause your actions cause your results. Your beliefs cause your choices. Your beliefs are why you do what you do. Nobody can argue this. Somebody debate me. And once everybody says, no, he's right, that is technically true. Okay, then how do we change our beliefs? Because in order to change our actions and our behaviors, we have to change our beliefs. So the only way to change a belief is to get new information. Because if you only possess the information you've always had, you will never get a changed belief. The only way to believe something new is to get new information. And knowing this should inspire people to seek new information every day. I want new information. I want new information every day. And guess what I get every day? New information, a little bit smaller, a little bit smarter. Hey, hey. Next thing you know, I'm more valuable. Next thing you know, I'm making different decisions. Next thing you know, I'm making more money. I'm having better relationships. I start having what's called self-worth. I start to fucking actually believe, God damn it, I'm worth something too. Everybody can fuck off. How about that? How about fuck you? I've got my own opinion. How about fuck you? There's nothing wrong with me having an opinion. And then people start to go, you're arrogant, but you're already trained. You go, shut the fuck up. I don't care what you think. And by the way, it's not arrogance. It's confidence. It's certainty. By the way, there is such a thing as arrogance. Arrogance is running around thinking that you're great with no merit behind it. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Get new information. You start to feel like you're worth more. And guess what, guys? I'm here to tell you, you are worth more. Okay, we are all worth more. I hate when people say, I need to reach my potential. Folks, we're human beings created by God. In my belief, you're never going to live up to your potential because it's unlimited, fool. How are you going to reach it? It doesn't end.
Yeah.
That's so good, you do the sacred six, man. You forgive yourself. Okay, everyone deserves a second chance. We were forgiven. We are forgiven. Forgive yourself now. Commit to do what you say you're going to do. Start racking up the wins on a regular basis every day.
Block out noise.
Get rid of all the negative people in your life. If they're talking shit to you, man, blow them out. People, you want a bunch of yes people around? No, but I don't want a bunch of fucking assholes trying to pull me back in their shitty ass low frequency scarcity mindset buckets. Map out and visualize what success looks like so I can determine whether I'm moving towards or away. It's so simple. Am I moving towards or away? Like, I want to get a six-pack. Well, I'm about to go have a cheeseburger. Does that move me towards or away? Well, of course it moves me away. Okay, so quit fucking eating the cheeseburgers, fat ass. You want abs? Start working out. Start eating right. Yeah, but no, those are rationalizations. It's your subconscious literally making it tough for you, which, by the way, it is tough. Guys, adversity and challenges are how I think God weeds out the undeserving. You want something? Okay, here. Oh, I got to get up and work for it? Oh, shit, I got to be uncomfortable? Forget it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, that's how it's done. You want to build your self-worth? That's how you build your net worth. But you build your self-worth by freaking these 6 steps. Map out and visualize what success looks like, and then seek new information on a daily basis. You do that, I'm telling you, over a 90 to 120 day period, you'll look back, if you truly do what I'm telling you to do, you will look back in 90 to 120 days, 90 days. See, there's 90 days again. But you'll look back in 90 days and you'll think to yourself, son of a bitch, dude, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
You'll think you're more capable. You'll think you deserve more, and you are well on your way to getting more. Because in order to get more, dude, you have to freaking do more.
Yeah.
You have
That's sacred 6.
You deserve it.
Good.
Yeah, that's undeniable. That's a formula that would work in anyone's life. You pair that up with real accountability, bringing on really a coach or mentor in your life on top of that to hold you accountable to all this stuff. Because it's a lot of people put out this framework or something like it, and then it's so easy for them to not keep the promises they make to themselves, which is your second thing you talked about So you'd have to stay disciplined at number 2 before any of this would even matter. And I just feel like that's where most people fail, is like they can lie to themselves so easily. But, some sort of accountability piece on top of that, maybe what someone may need to make that even come true in the first place. But I like racking up wins. I feel like when you start racking up wins and those become systematized in your life, even small things that seem like they don't matter, just dumb shit. But what happens is you keep moving the goalpost little bit by little bit, and pretty soon you're kind of a whole different person.
Yeah.
And so your new normal was the old person's goals, and if you keep moving that goalpost with adding on new wins, you can literally transform overnight. I really liked what you said. You had a quote. I don't even know if I never heard it said this way before, that confidence is the memory of success, the memory of winning. I really like that description of confidence. I never heard it said that way before. And the last point that I wrote down that I thought was good is, would you rather work for $20 million or be handed $100 million? And you're stupid.
I love it.
So good. Like, that's Brad Lea shit right there. I love it, man. So good.
No, it's so good.
People will always answer 90% of the time, maybe even 95 or 98.
It's shocking.
I'd rather earn 20 million than be handed 100 million. And I always
Such liars.
Yeah, I always say to myself, well, why is that? And they say, well, because, if in a scarcity mindset at the end of the day, it's because they go, well, because if I earned it and anything happened, scarcity, I would be able to earn it again. If you handed it to me, I wouldn't be able to earn it again. Listen, you can lose 20 million and learn the same shit. Okay? Yeah. You can lose 20 million and still have 80 million, dipshit. Like,
I think most of these people are lying. They're telling
reason anybody needs to freaking work for 20 million when someone will hand it to you.
It's true.
Well, if it's worth anything, it's worth working for. All the old things we've all heard is why they're conditioned to believe, I'd rather take $80 million less than this. It's so stupid. It's conditioned. It's the way we were taught growing up. Everybody's trying to learn new shit. I keep saying, dude, first some of you guys need to unlearn some shit.
This might go back actually to your authenticity piece if you think about it, because I think most of these people are full of shit. But they are telling you what they think you want to hear. But deep down, like, people approval. Are fucking. That's bullshit. I'll take the 100 million. Like, if that's if I take 100 million right now, like, I still have the same mindset that I have, which is, you got me this far, I'm taking 100 million.
Of course.
Like, the 20 million, like, that I'm going to have to work for, like, that, to me, it's such a bullshit lie that you would say you would go that route, but it sounds good. It pencils really nicely to talk about how, it'll mean more, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change where you're at already when that offer happens.
I'd rather work for it, Eric. I'd rather work for it.
Yeah.
Give me the 100 million. Like, actually,
I don't want anything handed to me.
Yeah.
It's alapoxophobia. They're worried about how people
are being inauthentic.
Aladoxophobia.
Aladoxophobia. Yeah, I love learning new words.
But start asking your guests. Like, if you guys do a few more today, ask your guests, out of curiosity, if you could get handed 100 million or work for 20 million, which would you prefer? And you would be amazed how many people say,
I'm shocked you're saying 9 out of 10, man.
Brad, we're interviewing, it's kind of an interesting interview we're doing later today. We're interviewing Dr. Robert Malone. He was the inventor and I just spent the last week with him in person. So it's cool he's going to do this show. I got to hang out with him all week, and I really like, the guy's a genius. He's just so smart. But I like he's one of the few truth tellers that's out there. And he's coming from literally one of the most scientific, like, unique backgrounds out. He's one of the smartest people in the world, like, quite literally. Joe Rogan really blew him up during COVID when he was like, hold on, guys, this mRNA shit is not good. He's the inventor of it, quite literally, of this whole vaccine. Now, this is going to be a really interesting interview, and we want to get really deep on there, Brad. I figured I'd just tee it up for you. What should we be talking to Dr. Malone about? What are some things? Yeah,
what would Brad Lea ask?
Random, but curious.
Well, I'd be asking him, what can people do that were already foolish enough to get the vaccine or pressured into getting it? Because a lot of people got the vaccine, and I guarantee you they're scared shitless right now.
They got fucked. Yeah, they got fucked.
So again, is there anything they can do? I want my listeners to know, hey, this is what you should do if you got pressured into it. Because I know people that got vaccinated. Like, my partner in one of my companies got vaccinated. My assistant got vaccinated. My assistant and my partner voted for fucking Biden, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, Brad, I can't believe you'd be friends with those people. Listen, I don't care.
Sure, shit.
Your political views. Like, dude, you're entitled to fucking vote for idiots if you choose to. But what can you do now that
Good
you're
point.
jabbed? So I'd want to know that, or I'd want people to know that.
Sure.
That's good.
I would also want to know, like, in his mind, like, what's likely to happen now that it's out, because I want to know what's likely to happen, because now I hear there's mRNA vaccines going into all the animals.
Yeah, he talked about that this week.
There's mRNA vaccine shit in our food now.
Yeah.
We're all doomed. I'd want to know something like that, and then I just listen and go with the flow. I don't have a bunch of people. I did Dr. Peter McCullough. He's another.
Oh, you did?
Sweet.
He's good.
But I don't have a bunch of questions ahead of time. I just ask myself, what do I want to know? Like,
it's human nature.
Yeah, in other words, I forget that I even have listeners. Like, what do I want to know? And then I'll talk about that. But from my listener perspective, I would say, man, if I were listening to your show, I would hope that you asked, what do I do because I already got vaccinated. It's too late. I can't say no anymore.
Yep.
Now what do I do?
Yeah, we definitely will go there. That's a really good question. There's a lot of places you could go. But one of the things that I'm really interested in is really the political sort of nature around science these days and truth in and of itself. This guy has been, even on Wikipedia, Matt was just saying that they call him a conspiracy theorist. This is one of literally the most, pre-COVID was one of the most respected mindsets in the world. And now all this big media, all this big tech, these guys are just destroying people. And they've created the illusion of truth where it's so hard to navigate for the average mindset that doesn't have a lot of resources. Just the average, 25-year-old out there is trying to make it. They are so consumed with lies and bullshit. And I do feel it's part of my mission to try to help bring truth and just regular, just the instincts of like what a solid guy should be. Just simple shit. I don't need to get too deep in the weeds on it, but how do you cancel fucking someone that is that smart, that has that great of a reputation? This is evil shit, man. And what my biggest fear is, Brad, is that COVID on demand is happening. And I was just with Robert Kennedy Jr. this weekend, and he talked a lot about this, that they now have the playbook. Anytime they want to fucking bring up some virus, they're already talking about the next ones that are coming. This is scary shit because this is totalitarianism at its finest. He called it on-demand totalitarianism, where they can, I'm probably saying that word a little off, but where they can literally turn it on and off as they see fit to kind of move the needle. And elections are a scary thing. I grew up in Nevada. I lived in Idaho. This is a true story. I've lived in Idaho for almost 13 years. That last 2020 election, this is a true story. I live on a lake in Hayden Lake. I've lived here since 2015, but I got in that 2020 election, in the mailbox, there was a ballot for my wife, Jeanette, and me from the state of Nevada for the general election. First of all, they're pulling up old voter logs. They're figuring out a new address in Idaho, which I don't know how they connected that dot. And I'm not even registered to vote in Nevada. I voted in Idaho several times now that I've lived up here in Coeur d'Alene. But the point is number one, that's massive fraud right there, that they're creating an opportunity for me to vote, putting it to my new address and in Idaho when I'm not registered to vote there. So I threw it in the trash. I did call a 1-800 number trying to rate. There's no one to talk to. No one gives a shit. After that election, I made it a point to call. You can't see who you voted for, but you can call to see if a vote had been cast in your name. And sure as shit, there was a vote in the state of Nevada cast under my name and under my wife's name. And I voted in Idaho. So technically on paper, I committed fraud. And my point is this: you look at all these swing states, all these districts, I was just hanging out with Carrie Lake this weekend. You look at what happened to her down in Arizona. My biggest fear, Brad, is this illusion of freedom is now gone, and this is a banana republic. And COVID was what allowed them to push through all these things that allowed this massive fraud to take place. I mean, in some districts, there's more votes than fucking people. Like, this is insanity right now. And that's what allowed Biden to sit in that basement so calm and so cool for that entire election cycle as we watch this country slowly get destroyed. These are some of the worries that I have. And my job, instead of being mad at the TV, was to go out and make noise and to help impact. And this is one of the reasons I do what I do. But man, this kind of stuff is what really bothers me most at night, but at least I have an outlet to pour into. I'm doing something. I'm getting listeners. I'm impacting people around me. I'm creating my own little economy, but this is some really scary shit, man. And if this is true, that this is going to be an on-demand thing for the future generations that are going to have to deal with, including our future, generations for us, or the future decades for us, this is something that's really hard to fight against, and it's really fucking scary. And I think there should be more priority put on this than most people realize. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole with me. I'll get you freaking real depressed.
Yeah. Well,
Brad, how do you discern that? Like whether or not to touch that rabbit hole in a public medium?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because
how far do you want to go?
You've got influence, and you could, there's a billion things on the planet you could take a stand for. So it's not wise to fight every fight. How do you personally discern that with your own influence, whether to talk about X or Y or Z?
Number one, the only reason I have influence is because they, quote unquote, allow it. In other words, the second I don't say what they want me to say, they will shut my accounts down and no one will know who the fuck I am at all.
It happens quick.
It happens all the time. There's people.
It does.
There's shit happening that you don't even know about because the media won't talk about it. And the media won't talk about it because the media is owned by they. And the media is what causes the narrative. So they can literally get anyone to believe whatever it is they want. Unfortunately, they've been spending 50 years or longer with a lot longer actually, but there's been an agenda for a long time, guys. This isn't an overnight thing. COVID is not an accident. Okay, COVID was intentional. Okay, and it was also a test. They wanted to see where they are so far. The Agenda 2030, look it up. That's real. They're accelerating it right now. Klaus Schwab, go look up who that is. That guy's
scary guy.
Again, and believe it or not, there's people way more powerful than that clown. Like, dude, there's people that are so powerful you've never heard of them. They're not on the Forbes list. The Forbes list is bullshit. Those aren't the richest people in the world. The richest people in the world are the ones doing all this, and they are literally, I would say, which sounds crazy, but it's true. I believe they're Luciferians. They literally worship Lucifer.
Damn.
And there's nothing we can do about it unless an elite group of
Navy SEALs
or somebody like that, got together.
I'm with you.
And whether we were wrong or right, we just took a guess and said, "Hey, these motherfuckers need to go."
Bye-bye.
And hopefully you're right. But even if they did that, I just don't believe it's possible. Why?
Yeah.
Because, dude, it is so freaking deep, you don't understand. It is so freaking deep, you don't understand. Like, dude, they silenced Donald Trump. When's the last time you heard from Donald Trump?
He's fighting mountains of battles right now.
And he was the president. He's way more influential than me or anybody else that's on TV. They silenced his ass like he's a fucking chump.
Yeah, they took him out, man, and this is a nightmare for him that he's going to try to overcome.
Elections. If
100%.
Thinks I'm going to believe that Joe Biden won the fucking election, where in the middle of the night his shit went boop, bullshit.
And more votes than any elected president in the history of this country. I mean, give me a fucking break. Undeniable, that is bullshit.
We all know it's bullshit. There's nobody with a rational brain in their head that would agree that it's not. And so at the end of the day, what do? In my opinion, dude, you focus on you. Focus on what you're really trying. Don't worry about all the stupid shit because you can't control the stupid shit. You're not going to control these guys. They can control you. And if you keep thinking that you can, and you want to go out there and be some sort of martyr that's going to save the day, number one, you're not. You're not going to save the day. All you're going to do is fucking probably get snuffed.
Yeah.
I mean, look at some of these people, dude. Look at like people that cure cancer.
Yeah, crazy. All that.
There's a drug out there called fenbendazole. You ever heard of it?
No. I don't think so.
Look up fenbendazole. Fenbendazole is a veterinary drug that they give to all the animals in the animal kingdom. Okay, and one time this guy had cancer, and they said that you have 3 months to live. You're going to die no matter what. Well, it turns out he knew a veterinarian long story short, took fenbendazole, still alive 23 years later. Fenbendazole supposedly cures cancer, but they won't tell you that. Why? Well, because, dude, the money's not in the cure.
Yeah.
So people say, well, you're a conspiracy guy, Brad. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm a realist. I'm a common sense guy. And common sense will tell you Joe Biden didn't win the fucking election. Common sense will tell you there is an agenda at play. Common sense will tell you COVID was fucking scam. And dude, you can go back to the beginning of COVID on social media. I was getting, at one point I was getting so many followers, and then I started talking about COVID being a scam.
Yeah.
Dude, I was shut down. I lost 3 accounts before.
Yeah, it's part of the problem is they have this grip on media. You know, they did a good job with education. They did a good job with the media. They did a great job with Hollywood and pop culture. This has been happening since the 1950s, really, is when Lyndon Johnson really flipped the script on its head, and they've done a wonderful job then like controlling the narrative, and it's because they played the long game. But at the end of the day, just for sanity, control your own little economy. I purposely put myself in Coeur d'Alene. I love my community. This neighborhood would bond together. There's more weapons here than people. It's one of the reddest states in America. Like, I have a choice to put myself in an environment like you too. Everyone out there listening, you can control your own little economy. That's the best you can do. And from there, like, at least I think from there, there's a little bit of peace of mind in that. Like, if shit really hits the fan, like, and it really, you know, if you go to turn on the lights and they don't turn on one day, like, look around you. Would you be happy with your environment? That was a big question I asked myself, and Coeur d'Alene is the place I want to fucking be. If I had to be in America, like, so again, like, these are just interesting thoughts. Get your wheels turning. There's no suggestion on what someone should or shouldn't do. This was just a thought I've had, but I love this shit, Brad. It's really cool to have this conversation with you. I really enjoyed this. Brad. There's got to be a 2.0, man. I don't want to hold you too much longer, but you're a really cool guy and a mindset that is just intriguing, man. I love seeing your content. It always pops up, man. I love the little voices that you do, or like the other character in the content. I love it, man.
Fun.
It's so good, bro.
I appreciate you guys following me, and I appreciate you having me on your podcast.
All day, baby.
My recommendation to everyone who just freaked out because of the ending of
hard
this,
left. Yeah.
I would just say, guys, listen. You don't focus on things you can't control. Like, I can't control these things, which is why I'm not, running around trying to be some, savior. Because, dude, you can't control it. I can't control any of it. And if you think you can, you're delusional.
There's a great distinction. I think Jordan Peterson puts it: the divinity of the individual. Like you were saying, Brad. Like, look, handle your own house. You take care of you to the best of your ability. If you really care about the world, focus on yourself, and you'll bless your family. You'll bless everyone around you. And there's a real sobriety to thinking that way. It's obvious. Like, it's consistent with how you appear to be. Your straight shooter. I appreciate though that you didn't. You went there with us.
You didn't puss out.
Yeah. You didn't like whip out on us.
A lot of guys would have,
but
Brad.
At the same time, you put a nice bow on it, and there's a lot of wisdom in what you're saying.
A ton of wisdom.
Well, dude, I appreciate it, because you can't, and I'll argue with anybody, because there'll be people, bullshit, you got to try. Listen, dude, you're not changing anything. So here's what I would suggest. Focus on you, focus on your family, focus on your wishes, focus on your desires, focus on your goals, and let everything that's out of your control happen. Because guess what? Deal with it when it happens.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
You don't, not that you can't be prepared. I'm a little bit prepared, not as prepared as I need to be, but I'm prepared a little bit. But get your house in order, have a plan, and then go fucking act like none of that bullshit's happening, because, dude, you can't control it. So live your entire life and die happy without worrying about any of this stuff.
Yeah,
listen, I'm 54, dude. I've been hearing that the world's going to end since I was fucking a teenager.
True.
Yeah.
Truth. Yep.
And if I would have been sitting there, prepping and up in my mountain house and I refuse to fucking deal with this because it's happening soon. And I've heard it for a long time.
Me too.
I would have missed my whole fucking life. So listen, folks, don't worry about the shit you can't control.
I love it.
You can't control it. You can't control it.
Unless you're the creator of the universe, and you're not, so don't worry about it.
No, it's good advice, man.
Listen, if anybody has any kind of spirituality, we all know how it ends.
It's true.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just want to be on the right side of history. I want to align with good. And we all know what's good in our souls.
We all know how it ends.
Yeah, let's just align with good.
Yeah.
And in March forward, controlling our own house, getting our own house in order. Great place to end. Brad, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Brad.
Where can we send people? This is not easy to figure out, but why don't you go ahead and tell them where to send you, Brad?
Dude, I would honestly say, Google.
Google, baby.
Google Brad Lea, and you'll see 100 different areas to find me. But, bradlea.com, LEA.
Yep. All right, Brad. All right, God bless, man. Thank
Appreciate
you for your
Brad.
time.
I'm a man on a mission.